Have you ever felt the world grow quiet around you? Perhaps friends have drifted away, family feels distant, or the busy rhythm of life has slowed to a hush. In those moments of solitude, when it feels like you are walking a lonely path, there's a profound truth waiting to be discovered: you are never truly alone. A greater presence walks with you, guiding and comforting you every step of the way. In today's reflection, we'll explore the journey of a woman walking hand in hand with God, discovering strength, purpose, and peace in the solitude. If this resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content that strengthens the soul. There's a unique beauty in a journey taken in solitude. Society often teaches us that strength is found in numbers, that we are most secure when surrounded by others. But what happens when the crowd thins and we are left with only ourselves and the silence? For a woman walking alone with God, this solitude becomes her strength. It's in the quiet that she begins to hear the gentle whispers of the divine, guiding her toward a deeper understanding of who she is and who she is meant to become. She discovers that true strength does not come from the validation of others, but from the unshakable presence of God within her. Scripture offers a powerful reminder of this truth in Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. This promise becomes an anchor, grounding her in faith when human relationships fall short. While others might see solitude as loneliness, she learns to see it as a sacred space where God fills every void and satisfies every longing. Her heart begins to trust in ways she never thought possible, and her journey transforms into one of spiritual growth and resilience. This transformation is not without its challenges. There are moments when the pang of loneliness strikes, and the silence feels heavy. Yet even in those moments, she learns to lean into her Creator, finding that His strength is made perfect in her weakness. Each step forward becomes a declaration of faith, a testament to her growing confidence in God's love and guidance. She may walk alone in the eyes of the world, but in truth, she is walking with the one who knows her heart better than anyone else ever could. Through this journey, she begins to see herself in a new light. Her identity is no longer tied to human approval or fleeting connections. Instead, she is rooted in the knowledge that she is deeply loved and cherished by her Creator. The noise of the world fades away, and in the silence, she hears the voice of God calling her to stand tall, to be fearless, and to embrace the purpose He has placed within her. When we think of women who have walked courageous paths, Ruth often comes to mind. After the loss of her husband, Ruth chose to leave her homeland and walk a path of uncertainty alongside her mother-in-law, Naomi. It was her unwavering trust in God and her loyalty to her calling that gave her the strength to move forward. Like Ruth, a woman walking with God today may face uncertainty and loss, but her faith enables her to press on, confident that God's plans for her are good and full of purpose. A woman walking with God discovers that solitude is not a void, but a wellspring of empowerment. In the absence of noise and distraction, she begins to understand her true worth, a worth defined not by the opinions or validation of others, but by the Creator who calls her His beloved. In Psalm 46 verse 5 we read, God is within her, she will not fall. God will help her at break of day. These words become her guiding light, a reminder that her strength flows from the presence of God within her. Society often measures a person's value by their social connections or the number of people surrounding them. But the woman walking alone learns that her value is not determined by others. She does not need the crowd to shape her purpose or direct her steps. Instead, she places her trust in God, knowing that He alone provides the strength she needs to thrive. This understanding frees her from the pressure to conform or seek constant affirmation. It allows her to stand firm in her beliefs and values, even when those around her may not fully understand or support her path. This journey is not about rejecting relationships or isolating oneself. Rather, it is about realizing that relationships do not define her. She embraces the truth that her worth is anchored in God's love, and this knowledge gives her the courage to let go of connections that no longer serve her growth. She values quality over quantity, recognizing that true relationships are built on mutual respect, shared values, and a desire to uplift one another. When obstacles arise, she no longer feels the need to turn to others for validation or solutions. Instead, she looks inward and upward, relying on her instincts, her life experiences, and her deep connection with God. Over time, this resilience becomes her defining trait. She learns to navigate life's challenges with a quiet confidence, trusting that God has equipped her with everything she needs to overcome. Even when people leave or circumstances change, she remains unshaken, for her foundation is built on the rock of God's faithfulness. This strength doesn't simply emerge overnight. It is cultivated in the moments of stillness, in the seasons of waiting, and in the trials that test her faith. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, to deepen her trust in God, and to uncover the hidden reserves of courage within her. She discovers that walking alone with God is not about merely surviving, it is about thriving. Her solitude becomes a sacred space where she can focus on her purpose, align her heart with God's will, and embrace the unique calling He has placed on her life. As she walks this path, she gains a self-awareness that is rare and precious. She no longer feels the need to compare herself to others or follow the crowd. Instead, she listens to the quiet voice of God, guiding her toward decisions that align with her true self. This independence grants her a freedom that is both empowering and transformative. She is no longer swayed by fleeting trends or the opinions of others. Her choices are rooted in her faith and guided by her purpose. In many ways, her journey mirrors that of Queen Esther, who found the courage to step into her calling despite the risks and uncertainties. Esther's strength came not from her royal title, but from her trust in God's plan for her life. Like Esther, the woman walking alone with God recognizes that her purpose is greater than herself. She is willing to walk a path that may be lonely or misunderstood because she knows it aligns with God's will. If you've ever felt the weight of walking a path alone, take heart. You are not walking this journey by accident. God has called you to a unique purpose, and He is with you every step of the way. In the quiet moments of her journey, a woman walking with God learns the profound beauty of trusting His guidance. Without the constant noise of external opinions, she discovers a clarity that allows her to hear His voice more distinctly. This trust does not form instantly. It is built over time, through seasons of uncertainty and faith. She comes to understand the wisdom of Proverbs 3 verses 5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. These words become a compass, pointing her toward God's perfect plans for her life. As she leans into His guidance, she realizes that the world's approval is fleeting, but God's approval is eternal. People may misunderstand her decisions or question her path, but she no longer seeks validation from them. Her confidence is rooted in knowing that the one who created her is the same one who directs her steps. This awareness transforms her decisions, allowing her to act with intention and purpose rather than out of fear or pressure to conform. In solitude, she learns to quiet the noise around her and within her. Life is often filled with a cacophony of opinions, expectations, and distractions, But walking alone creates a sacred space where she can truly listen. It is in this stillness that she hears God's voice most clearly. This voice does not shout or demand. It speaks in gentle whispers, nudging her toward the path He has prepared for her. She treasures these moments of connection, understanding that they are a gift, a reminder that she is never truly alone. This trust in God's guidance gives her the courage to take steps of faith, even when the way forward is unclear. Like Mary, the mother of Jesus, she learns to say, "I am the Lord's servant. May your word to me be fulfilled." Luke 1 verse 38. Mary's story reminds us that trusting God often means stepping into the unknown, holding on to His promises even when the full picture has not yet been revealed. The woman walking with God follows this example, placing her trust in His plans even when they differ from her own expectations. One of the greatest challenges she faces is prioritizing God's voice over the opinions of others. It is not easy to walk a path that others may not understand. Friends and family might offer well-meaning advice or express doubts about her choices, but she has learned to filter their words through the lens of her faith. She knows that her ultimate calling comes from God, not from people, and she remains steadfast in following His lead. This unwavering trust enables her to embrace the unique purpose God has for her life. She no longer feels the need to measure her success by worldly standards or compare her journey to that of others. Instead, she focuses on fulfilling the mission God has placed before her, trusting that His plans are far greater than anything she could imagine. Each step she takes is an act of faith, a declaration that she believes in His goodness and faithfulness. Her trust in God also teaches her the art of surrender. While she is strong and resilient, she understands that true peace comes from relinquishing control and allowing God to take the lead. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It reflects her understanding that God's ways are higher than her own and that His perspective is eternal. In letting go of her plans, she finds a peace that surpasses all understanding, a peace that comes from knowing that God is in control. As she moves forward in faith, her life becomes a testament to the power of trusting God. She embodies the truth of 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Her confidence does not come from having all the answers, but from knowing the one who does. Even when the path ahead is uncertain, she walks with assurance, trusting that God is working behind the scenes to orchestrate something beautiful. The woman walking with God discovers that her worth is not determined by her circumstances, the opinions of others, or even her own achievements. Instead, her identity is rooted in the unwavering love of her Creator. This truth becomes her foundation, freeing her from the pressures of comparison and the need for constant affirmation. In 1 Peter 2 verse 9, we are reminded, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession." These words echo in her heart, reassuring her that she is deeply valued and uniquely called. This understanding transforms how she sees herself. No longer does she measure her value by the size of her social circle, her career success, or her outward appearance. Instead, she finds her worth in the knowledge that she is God's beloved. This shift in perspective allows her to approach life with confidence and peace, knowing that she is enough just as she is. She no longer feels the need to chase after approval or prove herself to others. Her identity is secure, anchored in the love of the one who created her. Because of this deep sense of worth, she is careful about the relationships she cultivates. She understands that true friendships and meaningful connections take time and effort to grow. She values quality over quantity, seeking out relationships that are uplifting and authentic rather than superficial. She is not afraid to walk away from connections that no longer align with her values or bring peace to her life. Her self-respect acts as a filter, guiding her toward people who appreciate and support her for who she truly is. In a world that often glorifies busyness and external success, she takes the time to care for her inner world. She understands that her well-being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is a reflection of the value God has placed within her. Self-care becomes an act of worship, a way to honor the life God has given her. Whether through prayer, reflection, or moments of rest, she invests in herself, knowing that she cannot pour into others if her own cup is empty. Her sense of worth also gives her the strength to set healthy boundaries. She is unafraid to say no when needed, recognizing that her time and energy are valuable. This wisdom allows her to protect her peace and prioritize what truly matters. She does not feel pressured to conform to societal expectations or compromise her values for the sake of acceptance. Instead, she walks confidently in the path God has set before her, knowing that His approval is all she truly needs. This confidence in her identity enables her to live with authenticity. She does not wear masks or try to be someone she's not. Her life reflects her true self, shaped by her faith and her unique calling. This authenticity is magnetic, drawing others toward her not because she seeks attention, but because her light shines brightly from within. She is a reminder to those around her that true beauty and strength come from living a life grounded in purpose and integrity. When we think of women who embodied this strength, Queen Esther stands as a powerful example. Though she faced great risks and uncertainty, Esther knew her worth and trusted in God's plan for her life. Her courage to step into her calling saved her people and left a legacy of faith and bravery. Like Esther, the woman walking with God recognizes that her worth is not tied to her position or status, but to her identity as God's chosen. This truth empowers her to make bold choices, even when the path is difficult. Her journey is not without its challenges. There are moments when doubt creeps in or the opinions of others threaten to shake her confidence. Yet in these moments, she turns to God's word for reassurance. Verses like Psalm 139 verse 14 remind her, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." These promises serve as a shield, guarding her heart against the lies that try to diminish her worth. As the journey unfolds, a woman walking with God learns to rely not on her own strength, but on the guidance and provision of her Creator. This reliance transforms her solitude into a partnership with the divine, where each step forward is taken in faith, not fear. She understands that while the world may feel uncertain, God's presence is constant and His plans are good. Her trust deepens as she remembers the promise of Isaiah 41 verse 10. "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This trust enables her to embrace the unknown with courage. While others may hesitate to take a step of faith without a clear picture of the outcome, she moves forward with confidence, knowing that God is guiding her path. Her journey becomes a testament to 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7. "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Even when the road is unclear or the obstacles seem insurmountable, she places her hope in the one who goes before her. Her ability to trust God also brings her freedom. She is no longer bound by the need to control every aspect of her life. Instead, she surrenders her plans to God, finding peace in the assurance that His ways are higher than her own. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It reflects her understanding that true peace comes from releasing her worries to the one who holds the universe in His hands. In letting go, She finds that God's plans exceed anything she could have imagined. As she walks this path, she becomes a beacon of hope for others. Her unwavering trust in God inspires those around her to seek Him in their own lives. She does not preach with words alone, but with the quiet strength of her example. Through her actions, she shows that a life anchored in faith is one of purpose, resilience, and joy. Her trust in God becomes contagious, drawing others closer to Him. One of the greatest lessons she learns is the importance of listening for God's voice. In a world filled with distractions, she treasures the moments of stillness where she can hear His guidance. These moments are not always grand or dramatic. Sometimes they come in the gentle nudge of her heart or the quiet conviction to take a step of faith. She knows that God speaks in many ways through His Word, through prayer, and through the beauty of creation. By making space for these moments, she ensures that her life remains aligned with His will. Her trust in God also gives her the strength to face adversity with grace. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but she does not face them alone. She clings to the promise of Romans 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. This assurance allows her to see trials not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. She knows that every hardship is shaping her into the woman God has called her to be. Her journey mirrors that of many women in Scripture who walked by faith. Consider Deborah, the prophet and judge who led Israel with wisdom and strength. Deborah trusted in God's guidance, even when her calling set her apart from others. Her faith empowered her to lead with courage and conviction, reminding us that God equips those He calls. Like Deborah, the woman walking with God embraces her unique purpose, trusting that He will provide everything she needs to fulfill it. As she continues to walk, her relationship with God deepens. She learns to depend on Him not just in times of crisis, but in the everyday moments of life. Her faith becomes the foundation upon which she builds her dreams, her relationships, and her purpose. She no longer measures success by worldly standards, but by her alignment with God's will. Each day becomes an opportunity to grow closer to Him and to live out the calling He has placed on her heart. If this journey resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your own walk with God. Are you trusting Him fully, even when the path is unclear? In the comments, share how God has guided you through seasons of uncertainty. And if this message has inspired you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs encouragement. Together, let's continue to walk in faith, trusting that God is with us every step of the way.